Hello you two. I'll get properly into commentary mode just before we go into the session. But nice to see a few of you have joined already. How are we feeling for the race, gentlemen? Oh, right, we've got a bit of time to kill. I think I might as well start doing a bit of a preview for the session. Where's my TV? Well, let me just turn this up a little bit because I'm deaf. Let's go through his lineups first. Keep it civil in the comments, you two. Whew. I'm going to say right now, it feels weird to be back. It feels very strange, but I'm looking forward to it. Ten's generous, meep. Let's have a look at our Hall of Fame. Right, so first of all, let's do a quick rundown on who we've got. Right, so first up we have got Naismith in Mercedes, and he's going to be joined this season by IRT legend. I don't know much about Legend himself, but Naismith is quite a quick driver, so I expect them to score a fair few points between them this season. We've got a formidable lineup in Aston Martin with Jeddah, who was last season's champion, I believe. Yeah, Jeddah, the champion last season. So I'm expecting him to come in and defend like a lion. And I'm expecting Lewis to finish. Swanee in the Alfa Romeo, consistent driver, although doesn't always have the best luck. Again, he'll be looking for consistent point scoring this year. And then we've got the literal alien himself, Chris Alien, in the McLaren. Chris Alien, another one of those drivers who is going to be at the sharp end of the grid. In Haas we have Monnier de Cheeks and Eddie Smith. Smith last season was a pretty consistent driver, but we'll see how he gets on this year. And Monnier de Cheeks, I've got no idea who they are, so hopefully they have a good season. AlphaTauri now we have Kiwi, who I know is quick, having raced against him previously, and Talbot, who until I see him in this race I won't really know much about. There's going to be a few like that. Alpine we've got Danny Danny, I think I've raced against once or twice. Again, he is quite a formidable opponent. Red Bull, we have AP in at the moment. His teammate is going to be Junior, although he looks like he's absent at this moment in time. Down to Ferrari, and this season we have the Irish Wonder. I'll read the chat after Extremist. So the Irish Wonder in the Ferrari, he is going to be joined this season by Devola. At the moment he is the lone Scarlet Ferrari, and below him we have Silo and Nick Freak. Silo himself is a very quick driver, so again I'm expecting him to be at the sharp end, not necessarily fighting for wins but definitely podiums. Keep it a bit more PG in the chat please lads. And Extremist teammate has joined now, and Silo has moved over to Alfa Romeo. Obviously he's reserving this week. Legend has also joined now. I think that's everyone so far. It's Jake, isn't it? Williams. Right, so that's it for the cars. Yes, I am, Meep. What gave it away? So that's it for the cars. Let's look at the track. So it was brought in for, I forget now, was it 2020 or 20? Can you tell I'm a bit rusty? Let me do some research while I've got 5 minutes. Jeddah Corniche circuit. There we go. Fountain of knowledge for tis Wikipedia. So it hosted the inaugural Saudi Grand Prix in 2021, which I'm not going to let this turn into a rocket powered Mohawk video, but that was the beginning of the end for Michael Massey, with some questionable driving by both championship protagonists, and has since been lambasted by drivers for the fact it is a death trap. But we raced there anyway because money talks. Not to make this too political, let's get to the actual racing now. It is a fast circuit. It is how many corners? 27 corners. All of them are fast, blind, a few on camber, rest of them pretty off camber or flat. Your main overtaking points are going to be for chicane into turns 1 and 2 and the last corner. That's about it really, because the rest of it's too fast and flowing to really go side by side. So our lap record in real life is a 1:30.7 set by Lewis Hamilton in 2021, back when we had the fast cars, and its current length is just shy of 4 miles. How many laps were you? It's just going to be a 25 lap race. I could have just read it off of the bottom of the screen, but decided not to. So it's a 25 lap race, short qualifying. I think qualifying's definitely. I think it's going to be like Monaco. It's going to be the one where qualifying is the more entertaining aspect of it. But I could be corrected. Yes, Corey. No, Meep, you can't get Crofty back. We don't have the budget. You have to stick with me instead. Trust me, I'll get better when there's actually some track action. Until then, I'm going to eat my Milky Bar. We should be getting away. We should be getting underway shortly. I would rather have Brundle as well, Extremist, but again, we don't have the budget for that. Just I don't have a drink. I'll be fine. If at any point you hear any questionable noises and or screaming, I will apologise in advance. That is my child. He is about 4 feet from me at the moment, sleeping. So there's a chance he could wake up, and I do apologise in advance for that. I could have picked a better career path than commentary, because I have a terrible stutter sometimes. Yes, you're stuck with the bold Sochi racetrack, Meep. Stop. Just stop. Once we get into the qualifying and race, if someone could just give me a heads up on what the weather's going to be like. Because I imagine it's set to dynamic as usual. Or at least I think it's set to dynamic in this league. I can never remember. Yes, sometimes. Yes, dynamic. Right, I think we're maybe just waiting for 1 or 2 stragglers. Am I definitely still down to spectate? Yes, I am. So we've got 19 in the lobby at the moment. I think we're just waiting for 1 or 2 and then we'll get going. Where's my chocolate gone? There we are. Why would I wake him up, Corey? That is a bad idea. Last thing I want is a screaming child to deal with while I'm commentating. I don't need a co-commentator, and he would not be any use, Corey. In fact, I take it back, I do need a co-commentator. A baby is not the suitable option. If anyone would like to be a co-commentator in the future, do let me know. It does get boring in the com box sometimes. I will try my best as well to keep on top of if anything happens Discord wise. I've had it in the past where someone was told to retire. They were basically disqualified from the race, and I kept having to reiterate that, and it was not fun. So those of you who are watching, if you can just keep an eye or an ear just in case anything does materialise, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, if you could just let me know the weather, that's the main thing I want to know. That will be splendid. And 3, 2, 1, here we go. Right, into qualifying. Arguably my favourite session of the weekend, because you get to see the cars going flat out and nobody really holding back, unless you're Nick De Vries. And it'd be interesting to see whether or not Jeddah is still the quickest out there. I think he'll have maybe a few more rivals this year compared to last. I know we've had a bit of a rejig in terms of drivers, and quite a lot of the grid has changed. Glad to see him pretty much a full grid for Saudi. I wasn't quite expecting that. Means there'll probably be plenty of action for me to commentate on. Now I'll try my best to keep an eye on it. Let's get all this sorted out. No, I'm not overly fussed about telemetry, tyre. Yeah. Yeah, happy with that. Right. No man. Shock. Right, we have people coming out onto track now. You have to let me know what the sound mix is like as well. As I say, it's been a while, so I don't know how well the voice is going to come over the cars. On board with Extremist at the moment in his Ferrari. Having raced with him for a few years now, I know what he's like. Pretty quick on his day, and I think he can get a decent result from this as long as he keeps his head straight. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you for confirming the sound is good. That's what I want to hear. We'll stay on board for a little bit with Kiwi. Although it looks like it's Williams who's the lead driver, so that's going to be Nick Freak. So we'll find his name and we'll go on board shortly. In fact, we'll go on board now because he's getting to the end of the lap, and he will be the first 2 sets of laps, so we might as well ride on board with him. The one downside to this track is it has no corner names, and I love corner names because it gives me something to speak about. Right, so wide in out of the last corner to give him as much of a run into turn 1 as he can. He lights it up, activates with DRS, and we are go in Jeddah. Nice on the run down to turn 1, spots his braking point well, and that is a very nice and tidy turns 1 and 2. We had a brief yellow flag there. I think it was just for someone going slow in the final sector. Nice through turns 3 and 4. It's just got to keep it tidy and in the white lines. That's very nice through what I like to call the Mickey Mouse section, and now into this partially banked left-hander. Easy enough to spin out in here, you just have to be very careful on the throttle sometimes. Spots his braking point nicely as well. Again, another tricky section of corners here. We have another yellow that sets free. Looks like a Mercedes going slow on the build lap. Activates his DRS. Nice to see for this year that they have extended the barriers a little bit. It's a nice sequence under the bridge as well, and now onto the back isn't straight on the run down to the final corner, which I am going to name it at some point. Spots his braking point well, just about hits the apex. It is a late apex that corner because we want it to be as square as possible on the exit. Hooking the line nicely, and that's a 1:27.4. That is a good lap for us to start with. And it is Kiwi now on run up to the line. What's his lap going to be? It is a 1:27.2. He goes quicker. Looks like I've got another AlphaTauri who's coming to the pits. What is the Irishman going to do with it? Extremist has boxed as well, so looks like next up is going to be Chris Alien. Keeps it valid, and it is 1:27.1 for Chris Alien. I knew he would be quick. Getting a few more laps on the board now. Danny with a 1:34.8, not a representative lap at all. Swanee and AP slot into 5th and 4th respectively, as Jeslar immediately half a second quicker than the rest of the field. A good lap by the Aston Martin driver, and it's Jake has retired from the session. Got a few more on an out lap or a fast lap now. Intrigued to know why the Ferrari didn't set a lap. His teammate is up there on a 1:27.44 in 5th. Pardon me. Right, we will go with... Where's Lou? Oh, the Irishman knocked his wing. So I'll ride on board with Lou, see whether or not he can keep this valid. We have a yellow in sets 2. That is a Ferrari who has gone very deep by lots of things. Yeah, it looks like he's just getting out of the way of all the quicker cars. Back on board with Lou now on the run into this hairpin. Now it looks like we've got a few more cars going slow in sector 3. Very nice braking point there as well. Just done well to keep this valid so far. Let's hope he can keep it through this next section. This is a difficult one. That's a purple sector 2 by the looks of things, but then again, this game is known to exaggerate. But at the moment it is looking pretty good for DRL Lou. Aston Martin could have a good lineup this year. Comes out of the final corner now, activates his DRS on the run to the line. It's a 1:27.3, puts him 4th. So Aston Martin 1st and 4th at the moment. The best, by far the best team performance so far out of the cars that have actually set a lap. Extremist is now out on track, so we will ride on board with the Irishman and see what he can do. Very nice again into turn 1. Not quite clipping the apexes on either, but I am not going to complain. Now into this Mickey Mouse section where it's very easy for the curves to draw you wide. And we've got a yellow flag is set to, looks like that's Lewis going a bit slow. Into the hairpin now. Not setting the timing screens alight, but I think it's going to be a respectable lap from the Irishman. I do like full qualifying sessions sometimes because I love the jeopardy of people getting eliminated. Even though it's not the best for the people that do get eliminated, because then they have to spend half an hour sitting doing naffle. Got a yellow in set 3, looks like it is again Lewis. We've got yellow in set 2 for McLaren. Not sure whether or not they're getting out of the way or whether or not they're in low fuel mode. Suspect low fuel mode. Into the final corner now, will he hit the apex? Late apex as you'd come to expect at that turn. Activates his DRS and that's the run to the finish line. This is a 1:28.5, that's 13th for the Ferrari. Not the cleanest lap around this circuit, and we are starting to get a picture of who is going to be quickest. My biggest point of intrigue is going to be Chris Alien, because I'm not sure where he stacks compared to the reigning champion, who that is Jeddah in the Alpha Aston Martin, that's the one. Let's go to the broadcast camera rather than the onboard, because I very rarely use it. Still 2 cars to set a lap as Jakes already retired from the session. We've got ADH Smith and DRL Naismith still yet to set a lap. I should have done this in the should have done that in the main menu, but and we have a 20th driver, and it is just Gasly. Right, Jeddah is now on a flying lap, so we'll see how he gets on. No, Chris is on a flying lap, sorry. We'll see how he gets on. Jeddah is on one as well by the looks of things. That's entirely through the first part of the track and the Mickey Mouse section so far. Keeping it nice on the curb there, not going too far over. What's it going to be for sector 1? It's not purple. It's 15 thousandths off the reference time, as Jeddah has retired from the session. That is big. Jeddah is out of the session, so the Aston Martin will not be able to improve. So depending on what the rest of the people behind him can do, he may not start on pole. We will see. We've got 7 minutes left to find out, as Chris Alien is pushing like hell. That is a purple set 2, and because of his position I'm going to believe that is properly purple, as he's on the DRS straight now on the run to the final corner. We'll go on board to see how he spots his apex. Hitting it pretty much where everyone else is. On the run down to the finish line now. 26.7, not quite getting Jeslar's time, but a lot closer, as Silo has now also retired. Drivers dropping like flies now in this session. That's 2 cars that have done it at the same corner by lots of things. So that corner proving difficult for a couple of drivers. So I've just noticed about the McLaren. I'm intrigued. Do the sponsorship panels actually change, or do they just stay as chrome? I'd be intrigued to see that. I've not actually noticed that before, that they've changed it. Qualifying's my favourite session to watch, my least favourite to qualify. Because I feel like once you start on a lap with someone, you've got to finish on a lap with them. We're just going to Swan, is just going to a lap, we'll go on. Why is that not? Alright, we'll ignore that then. Who shall we go on board with yet? Swanee, I know, has just started the lap, so we'll add on board with the Alfa Romeo driver, see if he can improve on his current 10th place. And then I'll do a quick rundown of where we are with 5 minutes to go. Might as well do it now. Right, so at the moment we have Jeslar on provisional pole position, but he has crashed out of the session, so will not be improving on that 126.6. Chris Alien is his closest rival on the 126.7, followed by Legend in the Mercedes on a 126.9. That is your top 3. Rest of the top 10, we have the Williams of Nick on a 27.0, Davila in the Ferrari, Kiwi P6, Lou P7, Danny 8th, AP 9th, and Swanee is in 10th. 4th through to 10th is covered by just 6/10 of a second. And then further down the grid we have Talbot, Naismith, Silo, who has also retired from the session, Monnier, Kaka, Stee, Extremist, Smith, as Swanee aborts his lap. We'll go back on board with Extremist. No, spectator menu stopped working, lovely. Right, so we'll ride on board with Extremist now. Well, let's come back into the pits. I'm assuming has had another excursion. So just under 4 minutes left to go now in qualifying. Jeslar still the man to beat. DRL Mike still waiting for a lap from him. I'm going to go if he's the one who joined, if it was briefly Gasly in a Mercedes. So we do now have a full grid, which is very nice to see. People who are watching, I've got a question. Providing that I finally get my act together, and that is a very slow moving Haas. Not quite sure what they're doing, looks like they're in low fuel mode. And that is, again, not brilliant with the Mercedes there. Don't know which Mercedes that was. Oh, looks like that was Naismith. Don't know if Naismith was on a lap or not there. Yeah, question to people who are watching, if you feel like answering. If I was to do like a maybe highlights video, would that be something you guys would be interested in? Maybe similar to like the highlights packages that F1 does, but I'd lump qualifying and the race together because it's all done within like an hour and a half. Because I know some people probably want to watch the entire stream back. It's just something that's been on my mind for the past week, thinking about what I could possibly do. Well, might as well ride on board with Monnier, see what kind of driver he is. I've not ridden on board with any of the newbies, I don't think, barring Chris Alien, who is also now out on track. I think he's the McLaren in the last sector. In fact, no, the last McLaren's Kaka. I'm actually on board with Kaka because I've not seen him yet either. So we'll see how Kaka gets on through the Mickey Mouse section of Jeddah. Interesting tactic through the S's, keeps it valid just. He's definitely up on his time by 3/10 at least. Pretty sure that is reference to his own time, so 3/10 would currently put him 14th, he'd move up a space. So he would move in front of the Haas of Monnier. Now Chris is getting to the back of his... Oh, that's started moving again now, love it. Right, we'll spectate Chris as he's finishing this lap, see whether or not he's got it in the bag. 6-5, and Chris Alien goes to the top for McLaren. I know if anyone was going to do it, it would be Chris, because he is absolutely rapid. So we have a new leader in Chris Alien. Jeddah, obviously, as he's crashed out, will not be able to fight back with that. It's now up to the guys behind, especially Legend, who I think we'll ride on board with for a little bit. See what he's like. See whether or not he can pose a challenge to Chris Allen. As we turn 4, as we've got a yellow flag in the next section, looks like a Red Bull that's coming very wide. Nice through the Mickey Mouse section for the Mercedes driver, and he's up on the time, and it looks purple as well. So this could be a new fastest lap, as De Veulen has retired from the session. He's crashed on the exit of turn 2. Or is it the one in the last corner? It was both Ferraris are stationary. And I'm not sure why. Anyway, let's continue with Legend as he's coming through to the next set to split. Does not. Oh, and that is invalid. That is so unlucky for Legend. I'd be intrigued to see if he finishes the lap, because I'd like to see where he would have gone. I think this is going to be the last major player in the race for Paul. Would have been a 26.8, so it would have improved, but it wouldn't have improved his position. Right. Let's go on board with Lewis now. Let's see whether or not he's going to finish the lap. No. Swanee is the last driver who is on a lap, and he has just let an AI through. That is it then for qualifying. So your pole man is Chris Alien in a McLaren with a 26.5. Jeddah was next in line, but he obviously retired, so was not able to retaliate to that lap from Chris Alien. Legend in P3, who unfortunately invalidated his last lap. Would have improved his time, but not his position, unfortunately. Kiwi going strong in P4. 4 the AlphaTauri squad. 6 is Nick in the Williams, and 7 was Darrow in the Ferrari. I will go through the rest of the grid very shortly. I'm intrigued to see if there's any penalties. We've got 1 5-second penalty for Swanee. Any other penalties? No. So it's Jake, didn't set time. Your pole man is Chris Alien, followed by Jeddah, Legend, Kiwi, Nick and Davo. 7th for Naismith, good lap from him in the end. Talbot AP 9th, and Lewis in 10th. So 2 Aston Martins in the top 10, 2 Mercedes in the top 10, 2 AlphaTauri in the top 10. That is good going by those teams. Danny in 11th, Kaka 12th, Swanee with that grid penalty in 13th, Will start 18th. 13th on the grid will be Mike, followed by Silo, Monnier and Steve and Extremist. And because I'm slow, I missed out on the bottom 2. I think it was obviously Jake because he didn't set time, and the other Alfa Romeo. bit of a lull here while we wait for everyone to get setups and strategy done before we go on the formation lap. I do apologise to anyone who is in game chat. I do normally do this in a party, but I forgot. So anyone who is watching who fancies a chat quickly, how do you think your race is going to go? It's 5 hours lights and we are go in DRL. I forgot the formation lap glitch that we wouldn't have one. Drive-throughs for Legend and Nick, as Jeddah did not get to the best start. We'll ride on board with him and Chris to see what happens with them. Everything else looks fine further in the pack, as the AlphaTauri has a bit of a moment there. It just starts to slide down the order a little bit. We'll ride. Ooh, that was borderline by Talbot there. We'll keep on board with this for a minute because this is getting spicy. Looking at the the McLaren on the inside. I've got to learn what cars look like. Getting very close side by side with these two through the mini S section there. The McLaren of Kaká lagging a little bit, and DRL Mike coming up the inside now in the Alpine. And and it's a tag from the McLaren, and McLaren is out. That was not on. Right, now we've got that out of the way. Let's go on board with the leaders, and obviously it's a VSC because of that stricken McLaren. I don't think that went particularly well. So, after all of that, it's top 4 are the same. That's it. The top 4 remain exactly the same. No, not because... right. Let's... I'll enable that now. Position change, right. So, I stand corrected. Jeddah leads from Chris Ayling. They have swapped around. Legend and Kiwi still where they are. Our big winner so far is AWH Smith, who is up 6 places. Big loser Nick Freak, who is down 12. As Silo has a drive-through for its speeding under the VSC. I'd be intrigued to see whether or not that. And then again, it was the end. Chris Alien now is side by side with Mercedes of Legend, and they do go side by side, but Legend does back out in the end. This is going to be a really interesting race on battle, I feel, as Mercedes gets back past Chris before this sharp left-hander, and they've nudged slightly, and is Chris going to get swallowed up by the other Mercedes and Naismith? It looks like it. Chris is out. That's bizarre. Didn't see what caused that then. I generally do not know what's caused that. It's a bit mental. As Legend is plummeting down the path now. Keeping an eye, does not look like there's a safety car. So we've got our first few pitters, Legend, Silo, Swanee, I think all getting, all 4 of our pitters are getting rid of their drive-through penalties. And Legend gets a 3-second penalty for corner cutting, so they've not fixed that, have they? Lovely. As Jeddah goes fastest in sector 1. Leading now from Naismith after both McLarens have retired. It's not brilliant for them. Quick check of the Discord to see what's happening. We are now under safety car. Talbot, who's also DNF now. So we're down to 17 already, and it is lap 3. At this rate, we are going to be done by lap 20. As Christian has also left the session. Alright, so that's just got even more hectic over the past lap. So Jeddah still leads from Naismith and Kiwi Devlet running a strong P4, and Danny now up into P5, up 6 positions from the starting, as is DRL Mike. In fact, everyone in the top 10 has improved, including It's Jake, who has come from last to 10th. Very strong from the Williams driver, as Monnier and Legend pit. We go back to broadcast camera and safety car. Extremist as well, up 8 places now into P9. Big loser at the moment, Legend, but that's because he has just pitted again. So 4 laps in, and we have a safety car. This is going to be one of those races. So how's the race going for people? For the people that want to answer. Because to me this just looks like chaos, but nothing's really happened at the same time. It's strange. I guess that's just the effect of Jeddah at the end. Still over 3 second penalty. Oh, this has got 3 second penalty for corner cutting. Ooh, the child has awoken. Hello. Right, that should be 2 seconds. Oh, right, child taken care of for now. We'll have a quick peek at what the IndyCar's doing while we're waiting. I'd be intrigued to know what other form of racing people actually watch. If we start a podcast, that might be good. Start a podcast and talk to people in the league. That could work. And like just to get a feel for what other racing people do, how they think the season's going to go, that kind of thing. A bit like the Beyond the Grid podcasts. Maybe just seeing how the careers, well, I said career, how their league racing is going, that sort of stuff. That could be a good idea. For those interested, Lungard is currently the Indy at Toronto. I imagine we're probably going to get a safety car in this lap. Even everyone is now caught up. Yeah, there we go, we've got the message. We'll turn the IndyCar off. And we'll get ready for this restart. I'll ride on board with our reigning champion for the moment. And we'll actually watch from behind this safety car restart. See whether or not he manages to build himself a gap. That's a pretty good race restart, I have to say. So Jeddah has got the jump on everyone else as Naismith is pulling away from the AlphaTauri. Further back, Devlet is getting overtaken by Danny in the Alpine. And side by side through turns 1 and 2. Is he going to get the cutback? He's going to try. These guys are side by side again. Both Alpines in the wars in the midfield at the moment. With DRL Loot in the middle of them. And it has a shocking Mickey Mouse section, and that is not brilliant either. On board with Extremist now as Steve is going up the inside into the bank corner. And he's just about ahead. It's going to be tight into the next section. Extremist is hoping to have the inside. And Steve does back out in the end. This is looking like the closest battle so far on track. So we'll keep an eye and see whether or not Steve can get past. As Silo and Monnier do swap positions. Go a bit further back now, looking back at the Williams and the chasing Haas. As Silo is trying to come away from it now for Monnier, but it's not really working. As Steve is well and truly past it, Schumer's now. As Jeddah also sets the fastest lap, and we have a yellow flag. We have a Williams at the back. It is Nick. He is out, and looks like he might have had a collision with AP, given AP's lowly position. Back on board with our leader, and he is lead by 1.5 seconds at the moment from Naismith. And Legend and Silo have a bit of a Barney as well. Legend in the middle of an Alpha Male sandwich as well. This is a real sauciness though. On board with Smith going around the outside of it's Jake. What a move by the Haas, and the other one follows through as well. Both Haas drivers moving up in tandem. As Extremist now is trying to keep touch with Steve to make sure he doesn't lose the DRS when it's activated on the next lap. As back up front, Daniel is up to P3 now and is chasing Naismith. See whether or not the Alpine can get the move done. Definitely not into this corner, but maybe into the next, possibly. It's going to be done before turn 1. Side by side, and Danny more confident on the brakes, gives the Mercedes space, but is past, but has a bit of a tank slapper, and they are now side by side. Looks like maybe a bit of contact there, a bit more contact. Not the cleanest, but it works. And this is just allowing the chasing Pat to catch back up now. And a Ferrari has gone extremely wide. And that's Devo, who has now lost places to both Mike and Lou. Going side by side in the hairpin. We'll watch these. And oh, that is Naismith. He has had contact with the wall by the looks of things. So I expect to see him into the pit shortly. Yeah, he can't turn properly, he's got wing damage. On board with Monnier, who has made it past the Ferrari of Extremist now. Extremist fading a little bit now in this race. As Danny is a comfortable P2 and closing in on Jeddah. Staying on board with the Irishman for now. As we have a yellow flag, and that is, it's Jake who is round as well. Monnier looking to try and get past Naismith, but I think he's going to err on the side of caution and wait for Naismith to pit. No, he's not, he's going for it. Great move by the Haas driver, and both Haas drivers again overtaken at the same time, with Smith getting past Extremist, and Extremist himself now coming under pressure from Legend in the Mercedes. My mate has not covered the inside there because the Mercedes is just going to go straight past. Of course, Legend has got that 3-second penalty. The gap has plateaued a bit at the front now. Jeddah is staying around 1.5 seconds in front of Danny. We'll go on board with the Alpine now. See if it's getting closer. Swanee has retired from the session, and that is another safety car. And that is going to be Jeddah's advantage wiped out completely. Back on board with the leader as AP gets to drive through for speeding under the safety car. And now we are down to 15. This has not been a good race of attrition for these guys. I'll wait to do the rundown so after the pit stop phase now. Is anyone going to stay out? The Haas stays out on Monnier. That's because they'd be double stacking if not. Anyone stayed out? Everyone else is coming. So I'm going to go with Naismith and Jake won't be coming in either. So Monnier leads. That I did not see coming. We have a Haas at the front. Obviously he is out of sync now with the rest of the group in terms of pit stops. We'll have a quick look and see what tyre people are on now. Shock, everyone's on hards. So our race rundown at the moment. We have Monnier in the Haas who is leading, but he is out of sync on the pit stops. Jeddah in P2, Danny P3, he's up 8 positions now. Great drive from both Alpines to be fair, although Mike did get held up slightly in the pit stops due to a double stack. Kiwi P4, Lou P5, Davo P6. I've already mentioned the other Alpine of Mike. Steve 8th, Smith 9th, Legend 10th. Civility top 10, Silo up to 11th, Extremist down to 12th. He had a good start but his tyres were fading massively. I think he'd be glad to just have a reset if I'm honest. As AP is 13th, Naismith is 14th and Jake rounds out 15 we have left. So I reckon not this lap, next lap for safety car to come in. So I've got one more lap of filler before I have to try and keep track of what people are doing. Right, again, I'm expecting the safety car to be in at the end of this lap. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Monnier can hold on those warm mediums. As soon as he has already made a pit stop. I imagine he'll be pitting again at the end, obviously, to see what he can do. There we go, I've got the message safety car in this lap, so we've bride. Or we'll use the broadcast cam for this time. So Monnier is going to be leading us from the safety car restart. We'll ride on board with a Haas driver now, looking back to see what kind of safety car restart this is going to be. See whether or not you can get the jump like Jeddah did on the last one. Not a fan of a speed up, slow down tactic. That is not a favourite. As we'll ride on board with Jeddah now, as Danny is coming around the outside here. And the Alpine is... that is great racing between them two. That's brilliant racing. We'll ride on board with the Alpine now to see what his POV is like. So close to the rear wing of Jeddah, but keeping it clean. And we'll go a bit further back now. Looks like everyone has stayed pretty clean, and Naismith's out. That's another DNF and another safety car. So by my count, that's 3 safety cars. So got what? One more safety car, tops. Lovely. Right, so that's another few minutes of me having nothing to say. Do apologise for the argument, for the frequent. Oh, Jake and Naismith came together. Drama. Yeah, I missed that because I was coming through the field just as Naismith went out, so we're down to 1 Mercedes now. That gives Monnier the best chance of pitting now. Which he does. We'll stay on board with the Haas and see what he goes on. And he is going on to the hards. As we have Williams coming in to pit onto the mediums. That will be Jake, who has supposedly hit Naismith. And Legend has also pit. There we go. I wondered why it wasn't working. Right, on board with the Mercedes now. He's up to 12. He's come out just ahead of AP. And AP is just ahead of Jake. Right, back to the front. This looks a bit more normal. So we've got Jeddah leading from Danny and Kiwi. Kiwi having a strong race to currently P3. Lou up to P4. Devola up to P5. Right, let's go back to position changes. Right, so our winner actually at the minute is still Smith with 11 positions gained through this race. Steve and Danny also up there with 9. Yeah, Corey / Extremist, yeah, you're in a good spot in a minute. Definitely some work to do though to keep those points, but definitely capable of doing so. From what I've seen in this midfield so far, they like to implode, so just keep your head. I'll admit, the racing standards been good, not perfect. But then again, you can't expect perfect. I'm going to have 2 seconds to myself, get a drink, and I shall be back. I've decided I am now officially looking for a co-commentator. I shall put a post in for Discord, see what people say. Again, I imagine safety car will be in this lap, so keep your wits about you, people. Right, I'll not do it in a tier 1 chat, I'll do it in the general chat. Is that smart? There we go, safety car in this lap. So I ride on board with Jeddah again for the start of this and see whether or not he can pull away from Danny. Danny definitely seems to be a match for Jeddah so far, which if he is, it's going to be a brilliant season ahead of us. I imagine it's going to be a late one again, and he's gone. So another great one from pick 2 ticks. I'm just going to start a party. Let's check that's working. Right, so Jeddah is leading by 3 tenths from Danny. We have a yellow in sector 1 for a Haas that is definitely around, but is still moving. Kiwi is out of the session. We've got Lou, who is in P3. He's fallen behind by about a second. Danny is definitely keeping Jeddah honest at the moment. Looking a bit further back, we've got Devola, who is chasing down the Aston Martin of Lewis and has Mike for company as well. Steve and Extremist up to P6 and 7. That is a great start, or great restart by them too. With Charlotte's 8th, Legend Knight, but he has got that 3 second above him, and looks like Jake is missing yet another front wing. Hello Naismith, how are we? I'm not too bad, thanks. It was getting a bit lonely, so I figured I could probably do with someone. And Jake has punted Legend, so I make that 2 Mercedes killed. Looks like Legend is going to be coming into the pits. He is missing a front wing. Yeah. No, he did get rear-ended by Jake, so... Yeah, so like I said, I'm at 2 Mercedes is murdered today. We've also got the Haas of Monnier into the pits as Smith. So it's 10th. Yeah. So still got Jeddah leading, and Danny is a very close second, and he has a drive-through. Danny has a drive-through for speeding under VSC. Yeah, that has ruined it. Yeah, that was very nice. Yeah, very nice from a Ferrari driver, but I've got a feeling Lou might come back at him here. Yeah, bit of that. Got Mike. I'll keep an eye for Mike's POV on this one. Not the best exit from Lou. Red Bull of steers slowly closing up, as is Extremist. As I'll go back to the leaders, and Jeddah has lost the lead. So Danny, yeah, great move by Danny. But he's not letting that drive-through phase him. He's going to get as far away as he can, I think. Yeah, so that's, and Lou is back past now, so that is Aston Martin 2-3 at the moment. Looking very good for the constructors for 100%. Looking good for Ferrari as well, 4th and 7th in a minute. Mike is keeping the Vola honest though, and Extremist is now coming under a bit of pressure from Silo. We'll stay on board with this battle at the moment. Silo just a couple of tenths behind. Yeah, not the best line I've seen him take, but yeah, Extremist is going to lose his battle. Can he get it done? Yes, he can. Looks like we've got another Haas that's gone slowly as well. Very nice move, and he's now going to set his sights on the Red Bull in front of him, which he will have DRS, so we'll close up a fair bit, I think. They're fairly even on the ERS side of things, as the Devola has moved down to P5 now. Mike has got past, and Danny has pitted, so Danny is now taking his drive-through. So it is an Aston Martin 1-2 at the moment, with Mike on the third step. Definitely say it's close. Yeah, very close indeed. Watching off the back of Stu now, Silo just a couple of tenths off. I think he might try and do it into the banked hairpin. Extremist has fallen off a bit now, looks like his medium's fading a little bit. He's still got 5%, so he's not doing a good job. Steve hits the wall and allows Silo a little sneak. I think he'll be round on the next DRS straight. And it taps the wall again. This is a scrappy middle sector for the Red Bull driver. Yep, Salo up the inside. That wasn't really a competition. Yeah, and watching now as Mike is getting past Luke. Mike passed just about. That was really good defending, but Mike is going to have the outs again. Mike has let it stick now for the moment. We'll stay on board with the Aston Martin and see whether or not he dives up the inside. Ezra's against it, so that is Mike up to P2 and hunting down Jeddah. And I was just going to say, like you said, Devola has stayed with this group. A bit further back, Steve still within touching distance of Silo, and Extremist now within the clutches of AP in the Red Bull. So, yeah, and speaking of gaps, Mike has dropped to about a second behind Jeddah. Jeddah has pulled the pin by the looks of things. Yeah, Devola deciding not to go for it on that one, staying behind Blue for the next DRS straight, which I think he's going to get. Well, then again, Lou does have DRS on Mike as well, so that's not making the overtake particularly easy for the Ferrari. Yeah, good race for the Red Bulls as well. They'll be happy with that. With a Haas in the top 10 as well, they'll be happy with a point. Big losers in this, definitely McLaren and AlphaTauri both have double DNFs, and Williams as well. Just one car running outside the point. Back to the on-track action now. Devola's keeping Lou honest, and Steve is starting to drop back a little bit from Silo. Yeah, Mark has kind of is stagnated that. He has stopped it from getting any bigger. Oh, and Lou and Devola both hit the wall on the outside of that corner there. Is Devola going to go for it? He's doing it. Great move from a Ferrari. Does run wide though. Yeah. Legend. Yeah, another 3 second for Legend. So that's up to 6 for him now. And Devola's probably going to come back at Lou now with the DRS, and that's borderline embarrassing, the straight line speed difference. Steve is. Oh, that's definitely looked like a little bit of contact from where I was. Steve is still around half a second behind Silo. He's starting to bring that back in a little bit, and Extremist has fallen behind Danny now. So Danny, who's served his drive through, has already overtaken Extremist and is back up to 8. I think he's going to be targeting the Red Bulls to take their points. And complicating things a little bit, Salo has a 3 second penalty as well, so at the moment he might drop down to 7th. Not quite. Yeah, it's just at the moment. Yeah, at the moment it will now. Gap just starting to creep up again a little bit at the front. Back on board with Lou with DRS against Devola. Decides not to overtake him into the final corner, and instead is going to get him down. Ooh, that is a tank slapper from the Aston. Yeah, and Steve has dropped a fair bit of time on Silas. Looks like he had a bit of a poor final corner. Yeah, it's an intense battle for the final podium position. I think Mike is. I'm going to say settled for a second place, but I don't think he has, because Devola's starting to close a little bit. That gap has come down for a little. Saying about 1.6 now, but it was about 1.9. Quite possible. Oh, definitely looks like a one-off on that one. Steve with DRS, but not really catching at the moment, so clearly not wanting to use his ERS at the moment. Although he is now in overtake. Yeah, so Salo currently down to 6th on, oh, 6th. Still waiting to see whether or not Steve's going to go for the pass, or whether or not he's just going to stay behind because he knows he doesn't need to. And Steve down to just 2 tenths behind the Alfa Romeo, so we'll stay with this for a little bit and see whether or not the Red Bull can get past. If not, we'll nip back to Lou. Lou's dropping off a little bit now. Up to 7 tenths. Tell you what, I think Jeddah might have had a little moment because that gap's come down. So I don't know whether that's newfound pace by the Alpine or whether or not Jeddah's had an issue, but that's definitely down by about half a second and closing. I mean, if he thinks he can do it, he's got to use everything he's got. It's down to 1.1, but he's not got a lot of ERS left. That's the downside. Looking back again, Steve is back to within about half a second of Silo, but he's just not quite got the pace to get past. As Jake gets a 3-second penalty, that's not going to really affect his finishing position. Back on board with Mike, and yeah, that gap is starting to no, I didn't get to see. I was concentrating on different battle, I think. Yeah, it was. He's up like P3, P4. He was having a good race, and then I don't know quite what happened after the pit stops. But we have a yellow flag. That looks like the Williams again. Yeah. Right. Closest battle on track now is Lou and Davola. See whether or not Lou can get past on the penultimate lap. If they both are, I think it's going to be a straight drag race, this one. He thought about it but decided against it. Jake with another 3-second penalty. From bad to worse for the Williams driver, and I expect probably a couple of penalties coming his way post-race. Yeah, I do think it might have just been a mistake from Jeddah. We'll keep an eye on this battle. Yeah, I think that's it. I think Lou's just made a big mistake. We'll go. Yeah, Lou's just dropped out of a second. Steve is coasting at the moment. On board now with the Alpine of Danny. AP might not be able to get ahead of Silo, but if Danny can get past AP, I think he might have a pace to close to within 3 seconds. Yeah, I think if he can get past, he might get it. And he is through. He needs to get that gap down. It's not. Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it. Close, but. Mike comes across P2, and it is going to be Davolo in P3. Strong battle by Lou in P4. And Silo P5, but that is going to drop him down to P6 in the end with his 3-second penalty. a good recovery from a drive-through for Danny in the Alpine. Palfs in P8. Extremist dropping to P9 in the end. And a point for Haas with Monnier. It is, yeah, I think his tyres just began to fade. Last 3 runners now, we've got Smith in the second, Haas, and then Legend and Jake. Jake again missing a front wing. So I'm going to gather he's had another coming together because Legend also has wing damage. And across the line now, Smith takes P11. Legend weaving like hell. And last but not least is going to milk it. It is Jake. Just cross the line. Just cross the line. Don't do this to yourself. And there we go. That was entertaining. That was chaos. Oh, definitely. Driver of the day going to Smith. He was definitely the most improved driver throughout the grid. Let's just get our final classification when my PS4 decides to load. That's a difficult one because up until his drive-through it would have been Danny, but I think just for the way that he sort of commanded the race, I think it's probably going to have to be Jeddah because he has fought off pretty much everybody. It's not been plain sailing. There's been people who have been close to his pace, but he has managed it in the end, so I think he is going to be my driver for the day. Good. It's been a pleasure to have you in the combox. Well, yeah, I've decided I'm going to look for co-commentators. Hopefully I'll be with someone next weekend. But it's been a good race, and our final classification, we've got Jeddah, who won from Mike in the Alpine. Good race from Mike, just didn't have it in the end. De Volo, strong podium for Ferrari, with Lou making it an Aston Martin 1-4 for it. Steve P5, Silos 6th, Danny 7th, recovering from a drive-through. Palfs 8th, Extremist 9th, and Monnier 10th. That is your top 10. And this has been the Saudi Arabian round of DRL. That's me out too. You too.